So today we are taking a look at the HGLRC's Ford MT Mini 5.8 GHz VTX. It is a pit mode 25, 100, 200, 400, and a whopping 600 milliwatt switchable VTX. It has a built-in microphone and an IPX UFL connector for the antenna, and it has a single button to change channels, the frequency, and the power output. It also has the IRC tramp protocol built in, so you can change all that stuff like the channels, the frequency, and the power output in the OSD menu. It has 20 by 20 millimeter mounting holes, so the weight comes in at just 4 grams. So the measurements are 29 millimeter in length, 25.6 millimeter in width, and the thickest point is 5.7 millimeters. And it comes with a 4-wire wiring harness, a dipole whip antenna with the UFL connector, and a UFL connector to SMA connector cable, and the manual. So the manual has the product info and how to change the channels and the frequency, and how to change the power output. And on the reverse side, you have the frequency chart, the power indicator status, and it tells you how to use the IRC tramp protocol. So the RX of the VTX should be connected to one of the MTTX pad on the flight controller. The installation is very simple. You connect the red wire to a 5-volt power source, and the black wire goes to the ground. The yellow wire goes to the video out, and the green wire goes to a TX pad on any MT UART. So here I have one already installed, and this is the Fury B DT140. Lots of room to install and change out a VTX, so I have chosen this quadcopter. So once you have it installed, you will need to go into Betaflight and configure the VTX. So here in the Ports tab, you will need to activate the IRC tramp protocol on the peripherals to the UART corresponding to the TX pad that you have soldered the RX wire. And here in the VTX tab, what you will need to do is download. If you haven't done so, you'll have to go to GitHub and download the IRC tramp protocol, and I have done so here. Just copy and paste this to a notepad, and what you will do then is load from file, and here I have the IRC tramp protocol, and it will automatically get inserted in here, and you can go ahead and change the band. You can change the channel here. You can also change the power here. You might have to configure the milliwatt sequence, but everything will be filled in, and once you have done so, hit save. Okay, so here we are in the OSD, and in the OSD menu, you want to go into your features and go into the tramp protocol VTX, and here you can change the bands, you can change the channels, and you can change the power output from 25, 100, 200, 400, and 600 milliwatts. Once you have done so, you can go ahead and set it, and you are good to go here. Okay, here we are testing out the VTX set to 25 milliwatts. The full screen is the head-play goggles DVR footage, and the picture-in-picture is the Fat Shark DVR recorded footage. So heading towards the 150 meter bush, directly below, right around here, and we get a little bit of static. There's the 200 meter bush, and the 250 meter marker right here, and 300 meter coming up, but I turn around, so pretty decent. Now the Fat Shark is doing a lot better due to the diversity receiver modules, and the headplay goggle just has one receiver, and it does make a difference, as you can see. So coming back towards the car, very clear right here. So going behind of the car, and we do get some static on the headplate goggles, but the Fat Shark goggles are doing a lot better because the Fat Shark goggles are placed on that bin right on top. So almost have a line of sight even though I'm behind of the car. So going directly overhead where the antenna has the dead zone, and it is doing just fine. Not bad for 25 milliwatt setting. Okay, it is now set to 100 milliwatts. Beautiful day here today. So heading towards the 150 meter bush. There it is, passing by it. And the 200 meter bush. And the 250 meter marker. The 300 meter marker. And we go a little further. And turning around about at 350 meters. Wow, what a big difference from 25 milliwatt setting to 100 milliwatt setting. And again, what a beautiful day here in paradise. Finally, with no wind and no rain. But the rain did bring us a lot of water. Look at the desert floor, nicely covered. Flowers are starting to bloom. And we are going behind of the car now. Still a little bit of static for the head plays. The Fat Shark, however, is doing just fantastic. Going overhead. Pretty soon there's going to be all these purple flowers on the field, and it's just going to look just unbelievable. Lots of rain this year. So overhead is no problem. It's good. Coming back down. This DT140 is just an awesome flyer, 3-inch quad. So 100 milliwatt is very nice. All right, so it is now set to 200 milliwatts. So heading towards the 150 meter bush, right down below. Ooh, a little static. And 200 meter bush. Little static there. 250 meter marker. Here's the 300 meter marker. And we kind of turn around at about 350 meters. Oop, we got ourselves a fail-safe here, a momentary one. So it helps to set the fail-safe throttle to hold. Nice. Woohoo! XM Plus sometimes not reliable. Sometimes 1K meters and sometimes only 350 meters. Okay, back of the car once again. There's still a little bit of static to be had here. Lots of static actually, especially on the head plays. Overhead is good. Oh, a little bit of static. Kind of feels like it did better at 100 milliwatt setting than right now set to 200 milliwatts. Next up is 400 milliwatts. All right, so it is now 400 milliwatt time. And as you can see, all the old tire marks are gone. Got to make new roads here in the field. 150, 200, 250, 300, and kind of chickening out at about 350. And this time no fail safe. Good. Little bit of static here. Repositioning. What a beautiful day, however. Coming down in altitude, going behind of the car now. You can kind of see a little bit of those purple flowers. $400 milliwatts, and there's still a little bit of static behind the car. Maybe a little better than the 200 milliwatt setting, especially right here. Overhead. Overhead seems to be all right, just a little bit of static. It's just the head plate goggles that's getting a lot of static. The Fat Shark goggles with the diversity receiver module is doing fantastic. Yeah, definitely need to make new road. All right, so next up will be the 600 meter or 600 milliwatt setting. You can kind of see a little bit of flowers here. Oh yeah, it's going to look really, really nice, especially with some better camera. Okay, so I'm at home now checking out the 600 milliwatt setting, and just with the Fat Shark goggles this time, no head plate goggles DVR footage. So I'm sitting inside the garage, so a bit of static here and there. Going to the opposite side of the house, a little bit of static. And This side of the house, behind the car and the trailer, pretty decent. Neighbor's house, directly in front, but there's still a little bit of static. The garage door is not fully open, by the way. One more time on the opposite side of the house, which is not bad. So I'm using the dipole whip antenna that came with the VTX. So we are getting a bit of static, but definitely with a better antenna, there should be a lot less static. But it is doing really nice. Especially since I'm sitting inside of the garage and that I'm using the dipole whip antenna on the VTX. Oh yeah, you can fly around the house perimeter while sitting inside of the garage, no problem at all. So there you have it, guys, the HGLRC's MT Mini VTX. Link down below if you want to check it out for yourself. And I'll also be checking out the full-size version of this VTX here on the channel soon on a 5-inch quad. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Fly safe, everybody. Maintain a good social distancing, which is now more than 6 feet, by the way. And just practice common sense.